This is one of the most highly anticipated cars of 2016. Well, at least it is in Europe, because the Americans, well, they don't really appreciate the Alfa Romeo brand. This is the Alfa Romeo Giulia, the successor to the Alfa 159, which I think is one of the best looking Alfas ever. So it's quite a hard job to fill its shoes. Okay, this is an Alfa, so Alfas need to drive good, they need to be affordable, but above all they need to be gorgeous. And I think in this color, it's a bit of a Bordeaux red, it looks really good. This is a true Alfa color. Please don't get this car in one of the 50 shades of grey or another boring color. Just look, those metal flakes in it. It's a bit red to purple and I really love it. You see how different it looks when it's in the sun and when it's in the shade. Looks really cool. Okay, we have the optional 18-inch rims and the red brake calipers. I don't think they look like 18-inch though. They look a bit small, I think. Maybe that's because of the pretty high tire. Okay, and then the back. Twin exhausts. This is the 2.2 diesel with 180 HP. And well, we have some stickers on the back, on the side, because you get a tax discount in Holland when you have this engine. It says so on the green arrow. Okay, please let me know what you think of the looks. Is it a better looking car than the 159? It sure is on the inside, because the 159 had a pretty cheap interior. It looked okay, but the materials weren't all that nice. And in here, this has to compete with the BMW 3 Series. That's going to be its biggest competitor, because they are both rear-wheel drive and they are both aiming for the somewhat sporty driver. So, who likes to steer a bit on his way home. Okay, so it's a bit minimalistic, and you have this nice steering wheel with a blacked out Alfa logo on it. And we have a little throwback to Ferrari, which is part of the Fiat family. The start button on the steering wheel. Okay, let's push it. Okay, you immediately notice that this is a diesel. All the shaking, and you saw the gear lever moving a bit there. What I like as well is this DNA switch. In the previous Alfa Romeos you had a different switch, and when you started the car it was always an N, and now you can leave it in any mode you want, so that's a lot better. So you also get this screen, and I really like how they blended it in the interiors. Okay, let's go for a drive now. Let's leave it in N. So this 2.2 diesel has 180 HP, and well, that's a good amount of power for a diesel, I think. But I have to say, when you get used to this gearbox, it really is very nice. Okay, let's switch to D. which stands for dynamic, of course. So as you can see, this engine offers a lot of torque at the low rev range, because I don't need to switch to second for roundabouts. And I still have all the power. Okay, we're now going to do a bit of motorway driving, so you can see how fast this car is. The one downside of this engine is that it's pretty noisy. You hear a lot of noises, a lot of different noises. But then again, it doesn't drive like a diesel in a good way, because normally diesels have like a very narrow power band. They offer power or peak power in just a few revs, and this really pulls the entire way, the entire rev range. As you can see, it doesn't lose any power when you go near the rev limiter. It just wants to go, and that's really nice. It's a really great engine. It's a fast engine, a powerful one, but as I said, a bit noisy. You know, the BMW diesel engines, when you have a 320d or something like that, they are a lot more quiet. So the ride in this car, it's pretty comfortable, even though I have the optional 18-inch rims. It doesn't feel bouncy or nervous. It really rides very well. So I do have to say, this is a charming car. I like to be in this car. I like to walk to the car. I can really imagine owning this car, going to a nice restaurant, and driving home, you know, walking to the car when it sits in the dark with this color. You know, it's a bit romantic, but I can really see myself owning this car and using this car. You know, Alfa Romeo really is the brand for the automotive enthusiasts, and they want to make cool cars, nice cars, you know, for people who like driving and the beauty of mechanics and cars. And the 159, the previous Alfa, the predecessor to this car, it was one of the best looking cars ever, especially as a wagon. But in terms of driving, it wasn't that good, and it sure is a lot better now. So it may be not as pretty, it may be a little off, but in terms of driving, it really is a lot better. And that's why they've gone for the rear wheel drive configuration instead of the front wheel drive like previous Alfas. And I also like that even though this car is now in dynamic mode, the steering still is very light and actually quite precise, because when you look at Audi and BMW, they make the steering way too heavy when you have them in dynamic or sport plus modes. This Giulia looks as cool as it should be, but I have to say in the right spec, because I've also seen it with 17-inch rims and in white. You know, it doesn't look very good, I have to say. You need 18-inch and you need a cool color like this. Okay, so this was my first little impression of the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I'm hoping to drive the QV version in a few months. Let me know what you think of this car, because I'm very curious. Okay, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks.